Divine music. 1, 2, 3, go.
Hey, can I talk to you about my friend named Jesus?
Hey, GP.
Hey, excuse me, I'm so
I love the
sorry,
feel of this song, man.
but can I talk to you?
Oh yeah, by the
My
way,
friend named Jesus.
it feel good.
Hey Crossroads, I'm here with Timotheus, and as we talked about last week, we're bringing a new segment to Crossroads, and that is Questions with Timo. And what we want to do is to get your questions that you want to ask, whether it's about faith, whether it's about life, whether it's anything. And we're going to see if Timotheus can answer that question. So in the back of the room there's a box, and there's some 3x5 cards, and what will happen is you write down your question, drop it in the box. I'll make a copy of it, send it to Timotheus here, and he will try to answer it. And I'm going to come and we're going to get him each week doing this little fun bit here. So Timotheus, thanks for doing this before us.
Problem, brother. No problem.
I think most of Crossroads already knows who you are. If that you don't, real quick, Timotheus is the director of City Kids from SB2W. Actually, you guys say SB2
Dub. SB2 Dub.
So, so start thinking about your questions and get them into the box, and then we'll have some fun with this. But Timotheus, today I have a first question to ask for you to try to answer for us. And since we're doing this series about teenagers and what it's like to be a teenager and a Christian, my question is this: what was an experience in your life that you kind of had to wrestle with or deal with being a teenager and then being a Christian as well?
Shoot, there are a lot of them. One I can think of the most, which is kind of what I do now, is being an athlete and being a Christian and being a pastor's kid. Identity was huge for me because everywhere I went, I was the last of 5 kids, and so I was either Pastor Pope's son, and everybody expected me to be perfect, or I was Everett Pope's brother.
Pastor Pope.
Isn't that
Pope
something?
Pastor. I like that.
It's hilarious because, yeah. So I was either Ed Pope's son, who was Pastor Pope's son, or I was Everett Pope's brother. And my brother Everett was the oldest of us. Incredible athlete, played basketball, ran track, state runner-up, that kind of thing. So everybody was expecting that same thing out of the rest of the kids. Or I was Sean Pope's brother, and Sean was like the clown, the comedian, so everybody's expecting me to be funny. And then Titus, my other brother, was like the stone cold fighter that everybody expected me to be able to do that. And there I was, this young, kind of happy-go-lucky kid that everybody was like, okay, you're completely different than everybody else. And so it was really, really hard for me to figure out, growing up, who I was. I would say that was the hardest thing for me because I became a Christian when I was 4. And so the older and older I grew, the more and more God was dealing with my heart, and I knew that God was moving me toward ministry, moving me toward Him. I had all of these friends, my family, all of these people who had all these expectations on me. When it came to school, people had expectations. Sports people had expectations. Church people had expectations. So I was just like, I can't meet. Somebody's gonna be mad at me no matter what I do. Like, I can make straight A's, but lose a basketball game and somebody's mad. Or I can win a basketball game but get a B and somebody's mad. Or get straight A's, win a basketball game, but show up 5 minutes late for a meeting at church and somebody's mad. And it's like, I can't do all of this stuff. So that, in many ways, drove me to what I like to call amphibious Christianity, where I was like, one way at home, one way at church, one way at school. And so my friends saw me one way at school. I was this cool athletic kid that was a Christian, but not like a Bible thumping, overbearing kind of dude. And then people at church saw me as like the perfect kid who wore a shirt and tie and was, had correct speech. And then at home, I was just the baby. Everybody called me the baby, and I just kind of did whatever my parents told me to do. I was obedient at home. But then, of course, when I got to school, I wanted to be that popular kid that everybody kind of looked up to. So I was a class clown, which got me into a lot of trouble in some ways. But my dad was a pastor, and all of my teachers had been through my other 4 siblings, so I could get in trouble, and they would say, oh, I know you're not a bad kid, because, you know, or they would say, I'm going to tell your daddy. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I know that's bad. I'm sorry. And then they just kind of let me go. So I would say the hardest thing that I encountered growing up was identity in general, and then beyond that, finding my identity in Christ, like being a Christian athlete, a Christian student, a Christian anything I did, Christian poet, a Christian writer, a Christian speaker. Once I found my identity there, man, since then, I was probably 16 when that happened, and since then, it's just been going upward.
Yeah, I think for me it was the same time. Mission trip at 15, 16 totally changed my junior, senior year.
Yep.
Knew who I was, what God was calling me to be, and what He was calling me to do, and dramatically changed. No longer cared what people thought or who I was trying to please. I was there. I was being made new in Christ. I was His child, doing His thing.
Happened to me when I was 16. I will never forget, I was working at Triple C Bible Camp in Hosky, North Carolina. I was the program director at 16, and I felt like the Lord was saying, basically, go hard or go home. It's like, from here on out, it's for real, or you're gonna be stuck for the rest of your life. And so it's just kind of like, I want to be for real from here on out. And so even when that was my junior year of high school, and when I came back for my senior year, it was just, I was a completely different human being. And it was weird because people didn't know, people had no idea what to expect. When I came back to school in my senior year, I wore a shirt and tie every day, and I was very, very serious, and was studying, and was playing basketball and trying to get involved in the community. And but I wasn't doing it for approval anymore. I was doing it because I was like, Lord, I feel like this is what you want me to do.
You did it for approval, but it wasn't the approval of your peers. It
Right.
wasn't the approval of your teachers. It was the approval of God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's it. I mean, you guys think of your questions. What do you want to know? What do you want to know about the Bible? What do you know about faith? What do you want to know about just living out your faith? Write them down. We'll bring them up to Matthias. He can give you some answers and some encouragements. Matthias, thanks for doing this. This is going to be a fun thing. And we'll get back to our Crossroads program.
Go, wanna see him free, so that's why we go. London, Heathrow, West Coast, East Coast. Every time we speak those words from the scriptures, that's another seed song. Yeah, you are not a freak show, cause you wanna see souls free.